I'm incredibly excited to be here today to launch the second week of AFLW Pride Round alongside a very special guest. I'm so pleased to welcome legendary American comedian, TV host and film star Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie... Thank you. Rosie is touring her show, Common Knowledge, in Australia for the first time and has already performed 2 shows at the Sydney Opera House. Ahead of her Melbourne performance this Sunday at Hamer Hall, Rosie will be attending an AFLW match on Saturday, watching the GWS Giants take on Fremantle at IKON Park, which should be a terrific game and an opportunity to soak in our Aussie culture and see the country's #1 sport. We're very lucky to have Rosie join us here this morning, and I'd like to welcome her and join her.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rosie.
So much. Very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. So, how are you enjoying your time in Australia so far?
It's been unbelievable. I've tried to come here since I was a little girl. I used to tell my parents, I want to go to Hawaii and then Australia. And I got to Hawaii when I was 20 years old. But I haven't been able to get here till now, and I'm 63. So it's been a long time coming, but it's a beautiful country with wonderfully warm people, and you can't beat the weather. Even though Melbourne is cold and no one told me.
Yeah, no one ever tells people that. I'm not quite sure why. Now, tell us a bit about the show and the topics you're covering.
Well, it's really my origin story about losing my mom when I was 10 years old and then trying to be the mother of 5 children and a bunch of foster children as well. I adopted all 5 of my kids at birth. I had the epidural anyway because I wasn't taking any chances. But it's about raising those kids and trying to do my best while having a kind of vision of a mother that is a child's vision. And coming to terms with the fact that it's difficult to raise kids when you're motherless.
Yeah.
And I also have a little 12-year-old who has autism, and she's featured prominently. In fact, Common Knowledge, the name of the show, comes from their constantly saying that to me. So they will come up with a fact like, Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than she did to the finishing of the pyramids of Giza. And I said, what is that? She goes, common knowledge. And I was like, common knowledge? Like, so I said, what is common knowledge? She said, it's what everyone should know, but most people don't. So it's all about the raising of them and how beautiful it is to have a neurodiverse child in your family.
I think that's incredible. And I think it's also something that so many of us can relate to and know about. So
Yes,
I think it's
totally.
A really, common knowledge feels like the common story.
Common
that
story. She also
many of
is
us have.
non-binary and very into the LGBTQIA community,
Yep.
and none of my other children were. So I don't know if there's a correlation, but they're very into that, and I'm very proud of them because of that.
I bet you are. So when I think about AFLW and our history and our strong connection to the LGBTQI plus community
Yes.
and Pride Round, which is an incredibly important moment in our calendar, and based on what you just said, how important is it for young people to have role models like this?
It's so
and
important.
Their stories being told.
Really important, because when I was a little kid and I knew I was gay very young, like 8 or 9 years old, I didn't really have anyone in America. There were no lesbian role models. In fact, when I was a young teen, maybe 13, Billie Jean King and Martina Navratilova, both wonderful gay icons, had to hold a press conference like this and announce that they were not gay. And I remember being a young girl and watching that and thinking, oh my gosh, what does this say for me and for gay people all over the world? And, gay people to me is very similar to eye color, or if you're a lefty or a righty, it's not something that you choose, it's something that you are. And I think it's beautiful that the younger generation has so many role models now and so many prominent LGBTQIA folks in the media and in pop culture. And for kids like my own daughter, it's very important.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Pride Round is for AFLW and why we see it as an incredibly important part of our sport. And on that, when we think about the match that you're going to see this Saturday, have you seen any Australian rules footy before?
I've watched it on TV and I've been getting clips, The rules seem a little complicated to me, truthfully, but I love when they get it in between the middle posts and I scream 6 points, which nobody else in the country does. But I think you call it, what do you call it, goal? Everybody screams goal. I call it 6 points, you know. And I'm very excited to see it. I hold season tickets, and when I lived in America, I held season tickets for the WNBA and for the Women's Soccer League, and I'm a huge supporter. When I was in high school, I played every sport. And except field hockey, because they hit you in the ankle with the wood thing and it's not fun. And the third day I said, I'm not doing this anymore. So, but I played baseball, and then it was really the reason I have a film career, because of the movie League of Their Own, where I was the only actress in LA who could throw from third to first. And so that's how I got cast in that film, and that was the beginning of my entire career. So I'm a big fan of women in sports, especially for youngsters, and keeping them in is so important so that they don't drop out as they get older and societal pressures upon them, you know. So I'm indebted to all these amazing athletes and to this league for being so supportive of diversity.
Yeah, it's something we're incredibly proud of. When I think about that film, and it was, you know, a little while ago now from where we are
30
today.
years, yes.
Yep. Did you have any idea that it was going to be such a big hit at that time, that story about women and girls playing sport?
No, you know, it was Penny Marshall's first real big film. She did Jumpin' Jack Flash before that, but this was a big, big film, and millions of dollars. And, you know, when you're making a movie, and it was my first movie, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. But I will tell you that nobody thought it would be that big a hit, except for Gina Davis. She knew, and she said, this is going to really reach women. And she now has a whole foundation in America to track gender representation in film and literature and TV. And she's one of the smartest women that I know. But I will say that even though she had an Academy Award, when she was doing a scene, I felt she wasn't doing enough. And then I went to see the movie, and there she is perfect, and there I am doing Fonzie. Hey, how you doing, mate? Hey, like I'm being like a cartoon character, and she's exquisite perfection. So she helped me learn how to be an actress, and she was the only one who really knew.
Yeah. And so fast forwarding to we have a lot of Irish players in our league
we were
that
just
we benefit
chatting,
from, which is absolutely phenomenal. Have you noticed any similarity between Australian and Irish culture since you've been here?
Well, the drinking, number one. When I moved to Ireland, this is true, I went to the GP, and they had to fill out a form, and the first question was, do you drink? And I wrote yes. And it says, how many drinks per week? Please check a box. And the first box said 1 to 15. And I said to the doctor, what would you say if I told you I drink 15 drinks a week? She says, I'd say move on to the next question. So now I've been there since January. Can I tell you something? 15 a week is not that tough.
I'm sure you'll fit right at home here in Australia as well.
But it's also the warmth of the people. You know, we were so welcome to Ireland, and they let us in the school without much, you know, finagling. I mean, to get your autistic kid in a public school in America is quite different.
Right.
And you know, I said, what do we have to do to get them in the school? And the woman principal said, oh, just bring her in Monday. I'm like, that's it? They said yes. So, you know, it's a beautiful country, and it reminds me very much of the people here and the culture here. You know, and one thing you find out when you leave the United States is how lacking we are in a really a national culture. Right. It's such a big country, and it's so many differing perspectives and point of views. People who grow up in the South have a completely different reality than people who grow up in the Northeast, like I did. And it's hard to get us to all come together, but when you see a country like Australia or like Ireland where everyone is able to do that in a way that even the commercials move me. I'm watching the commercial for Sky TV or something, and it's, when you play Ireland, you play all of us. And all the people come down from the stands and link with the big players, and I'm crying, like, you know, don't forget, Ireland is everyone. I'm like, this is the best country in the world, you know? So I love that. I love having national pride, and I love having living in a country that you can be proud of. America, sadly, has fallen into disarray, and we're hoping for the best, but it doesn't look good, frankly.
Well, we're super proud of our Irish players and what they've contributed to our AFLW game. We're really, you know, it's been thrilling to see the evolution of W through their lens as well.
Yes,
So
I live right
phenomenal.
near the Aviva Stadium where they play all different Gaelic football.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get season tickets to that.
Good.
And then the next time I come, I'll be on the team.
Perfect. So on behalf of the AFL, we'd love to present you with the 2025 AFLW Pride Show in Football. And we've got Ellie Blackburn and Sarah Rowe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And the Irish friends. Yeah, well, this is, do I get to keep this?
That's yours.
Fantastic.
You
I'll
do,
get a
that's
bigger
for you.
suitcase. I'll take it home. But thank you so much. It's really beautiful and it's gorgeous. I'll display it proudly in my home in Dublin.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keen to hear more from the Ds? Subscribe here.